I figured since the internet calls me a shill anyway, I might as well at least look the part. I got new merch. It's available now, crowdme.com/Jayztwocents. We got zip-up hoodies, we got tri-blend, we got a new logo. I digress, since 2012, it's a digress logo. You guys have been asking for that. Anyway, we got all kinds of stuff. Zip-up hoodies, beanies, polos. Don't take my word for it, because obviously I can't do this ad. So just look in the description below and you guys will find the link. Thanks. So this is the white Define R6, the one we used in our ad where we put the Slick Wrap's white front panel on this. And I thought to myself, this box gave me inspiration. I've been wanting to do a white build, but I hadn't been able to decide like how I wanted to go about it. Then the amazing appearance that is the Titan RTX card, although extremely overpriced, extremely impractical, unnecessarily existing, enter any sort of analogy here that you would like. The fact that we ended up with two of these, I wanted to do something with them and not just have them sit on the shelf. We've already talked about the fact that they are not a gaming card, although they're the same exact architecture as the gaming card they came out with, but I digress. I found the box extremely inspiring and I went, what if I did a white and gold build? Well, they actually had an R5 white and gold edition, so I kind of decided to make my own R6. And yesterday I did some painting and stuff and I decided I'll go ahead and make a video about this. I wasn't planning on making a video. Very rarely do I do anything computer related around here where I don't make a video. But I thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and share it with you guys. We took this box and that's our inspiration. So I painted some pieces already that I'll show you guys and we're gonna paint some more because I wanted to sort of proof of concept to see if I could come anywhere near the colors of the card. So we went to Lowe's and I found this Krylon Fusion, which I've had a lot of success with in some of my mods. It holds well, it's a paint and a primer, so you can usually paint it directly onto a surface, although it's not gonna be the most durable if you don't prep the surface. I thought the color looked close enough to the backplate and in between the polished and the matte or the satin that we could probably get away with it. And then I compared it to the box and I went, that's pretty damn close. And of course, Phil, being the super smart guy that he is, was like, yeah, but the color gold on the box isn't the color gold of the card. And I was like, let me have this. Just let me do this. So these are the pieces that I painted to kind of give us our gold accents here. And as you can see, compared to the Titan cards, they definitely flow well enough in the gold color family. And even my table, you see I spray painted my table because I'm dumb, to where this gave me the accents and colors that I wanted. I was kind of torn on this front piece here because we are going to be doing water cooling. We're not going to water cool the graphics cards though. No, we're not doing that because of the fact that we're using the cooler as inspiration. And you know, there's no reason why we need to water cool them because it could have been a 2080 Ti then for all that matters. And all those blocks are silver or nickel plated. So, I mean, I could have gone with the copper, but this is not a copper build. This is a gold build. And when we took this and we sort of held this in here, we were like, oh yeah, the white and gold, that would be perfect for any Saudi prince. Like the color scheme you would see of like a Saudi prince, honestly. But I thought we needed some more. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these pieces and kind of put them in here so you can see what they look like, you know, against the white, which I think just absolutely looks phenomenal. So this is how I ended up painting my table though, because I did it like this. And then there's these gaps between the cardboard on that one, yeah. So we're gonna be putting another layer on these. I'm gonna show you how I painted the screws. And because the screws are knurled, as you can see right there, they actually stick pretty well. It's got a lot of surface and jagged edges to grab onto, but I wanna do a little bit more for good measure. Now the way I painted the screws though, because that's the hardest part, is I did it with cardboard, but I'm gonna show you how you can do it with foam now. Just like poke it into some styrofoam, cardboard, whatever, and just sort of like screw it in there a little bit. That way it's holding it up and you can get to all sides. So like I said, I had done this yesterday with cardboard, but today I'm just gonna use the foam. Because there's more pieces, there's more pieces on this case I want to paint, like the fan blades. Well, they do just pull off, but so Phil's cracking up because I'm using the power screw to screw these into the cardboard. I ran out of room on the foam. Well, technically there's more room, but these are harder to get into there. So these are the fan screws. You know, for the fans we just destroyed because we learned the hard way. You can't really get the blades off the dynamic fan that comes with the case. Unfortunately, Josh from Fractal Design got back to me right after we learned that. So Yeah, we got some more fans on the way. So we technically have the Vardar fans that are white, but they're more of an off-white. They don't match the case at all. And since the quality of, I guess, dye, whatever plastic they're using in the case, matches with the dynamic fans that come with it, we're just getting more fans. I'm also gonna be painting the NVLink bridge. I know that the motherboard I'm gonna be using is a triple slot or 3 slot spacing, so this is gonna work. But because this LED glows green, I believe that this is also an RGB LED, if you wanna know the truth. Because we already opened this up and looked behind there, it's not a film making it green like on the old cards and bridges. So we'll be unplugging that light altogether so it doesn't glow, and then we'd be painting the silver gold, because obviously this would clash with our cards. So once we get all this painted, then we can start putting it in the case to show you guys what it's gonna look like. So I get asked this all the time, what this toolkit is that I use. This was actually not a sponsored toolkit, although iFixit has sponsored some YouTubers. My wife bought me this for Father's Day last year. Either that or my birthday, I don't remember which day. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You guys can look down in the description below. I'll put a link to it, to my Amazon affiliate. And it's a whole bunch of stuff. There's different types of kits, big ones, small ones, even magnetic trays. So you can use it for like computer building, repairs of like smartphones, tablets, laptops. It's got all the possible bits you would need, even security bit. So yeah, you guys ask me all the time. That is what I'm using. Now the NVLink bridge, hopefully it comes apart easier the second time because it snaps together and then it has 2 Phillips on the bottom, 2 Torx on the top, and then it's a clamshell that goes together on either side of the actual board. It's $90 or 80 bucks for this thing. I don't want to break it. So Phil and I were looking at this yesterday. This is what makes us pretty much positive that this is RGB. Look at the amount of cables going into the light. There is actually a red, a green, and a blue wire. So I'm gonna find a way to unlock it on here. I think after all this time, I'm finally ready to paint. I got it masked off about as best as I can. I mean, it's never gonna be perfect when you're masking, but I think it'll get the job done. As long as there's no silver showing. So let's go ahead and make some fumes. I got a fan exhausting air. Okay, so we had a mishap. So here's what happened. I had this sitting here like this, and this had a nice new fresh coat on it, a heavy coat because I wanted it to be more glossy. This is a gloss paint, and because I've been dusting it, it gives it that sort of a matte look, but I wanted this piece to be a little bit glossier. Instead of going with like clear or something, I just sprayed it on heavier. And then I moved the fan over here because I was like, oh, this will help it dry faster. And this went boop, and it fell on it while it was wet. And I was like, no! So I picked it up and it was all stringy, and I was like, oh, it's okay. I can wipe it while it's wet. So then I took paper towels and poured alcohol on it, and yes, I know alcohol is not a thinner. I'm well aware it's not an acetone or anything like that. Anyway, I tried to wipe the wet paint off, and now you can see we've got this lovely textured effect. So if we wanted to go for that weathered steampunk look, we nailed it. But anyway, I'm now gonna show you how to strip this piece and start all over. So this to the rescue, aircraft paint remover. You can find it in different brands. This one happens to be by Clean Strip. You can find it from Rust-Oleum called aircraft remover. There's different types of paint stripper. I've had really good experience with aircraft remover. So it basically will strip off all the paint on the metal. The problem is if it's powder coated and it's a very terrible or very thin layer of the problem is if it's a very thin layer of powder coat, then it could potentially take that off too, but since we're painting it anyway, I don't care. So we're just gonna spray this on liberally, and we are going to let it start to do its thing and eat into the paint. You can take a brush to sort of work it in there if you need to. And what I'm gonna do while this is eating, because it's gonna take about 10 minutes for this to do something, I'm gonna take one of my ice chests and I'm gonna fill it with water so we can dunk it in there and clean it off that way. Yeah, so as you can see, we are getting down to the white paint now. See that? It's just sort of peeling it off. So that's what it does. It just eats through the paint, and then, yeah, there's a lot of paint on this. I put way more layers of paint on this than I really needed. Oh, it's so gooey, watch. It's like I'm reaching into a diarrhea-filled. See? You can even fix my epic fuck-ups. All right, time to put it back together. Yes, I'm aware that there's no motherboard in there. Obviously, they're just in there to see what they're gonna look like. So I think we did a pretty good job of balancing the amount of gold versus the white. Now, obviously this is part 2, or there's gonna be part 2 for this. I'm sorry about that. I don't like doing multi-parters, but that's because I got a wild hair at my ass yesterday and decided I'm gonna do this, and I don't have any of the water cooling stuff I need for this. So part 2 is gonna be doing the loop for the CPU, putting that together. We have gold fittings coming, some black and gold fittings actually, and I think it's all gonna look really good. Glass reservoir, same one we used in the Threadripper build actually. And I cannot wait for this to be done. This might end up being my new work machine because this really doesn't, the Titans aren't good for gaming and stuff. I mean, they are, but just their performance is abysmal in terms of their cost. But you know, this channel's always been about kind of doing things that are a little bit impractical. I mean, we show you guys how to do things, and I like to sometimes go extremely over the top. That's why all the white and gold on this looks amazing. Unfortunately, I broke the fan. And then by seeing whether or not that was a fluke, I tried it on the next fan and broke that one. And yeah, so we've got new fans on the way. And I'll probably just mask those off and paint the blades if we feel like it needs it. But once we get the radiator and the pump and the tubing and all that stuff, we will be doing rigid in this. I'm just going clear on the coolant. I'm not gonna be doing any colored coolant. I mean, pastel white might look good, but I've had the white unfortunately fall out over time in some builds to where it's just sort of like a non-fat milk look rather than just a nice, thick, opaque, white milk. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. So yeah, I can't wait for this build to be done. Motherboard wise and stuff, I'm probably gonna just use the same 7960X that I've got in my system upstairs, but we're gonna be going with the new Asus Deluxe 2, which is basically a white and silver motherboard. I'll probably be taking the silver pieces off of the heat sinks and painting those gold to match. Yes, I know that when you paint a heatsink, it loses some of its efficiency, but it should be fine. We're not pushing the overclocks and stuff really far. But I think obviously the best part of this, I'm really proud of the way that SLI bridge turned out. I wish that they had made a gold NV-Link that matched the cards, but that's not off enough to look out of place. We also got custom cables that are paracord white, black, and gold as well that'll tie this whole build together. And then all the water cooling stuff will be over here to fill in the front part. And my backup plan, if I wasn't able to repair that panel that I completely jacked up, but as you see looks phenomenal after like an extra hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work, was I was just gonna cut the box and it's just like glue it or staple it on there or something. I don't know. Okay, we've sniffed enough paint fumes today. I'm sure some of you were already typing at some point in this video, Jay, you should be wearing a respirator.
You don't even have a comeback for yourself.
There's nothing I can say that wouldn't be incorrect. So I'll give you that one, internet. We should have been wearing a respirator, but we had a fan and an open window. Subscribe. It'll save my brain cells. All right, guys, part 2 coming after the Christmas break at some point. We'll see you then. Merry New Year and a happy Thanksgiving. Ah, crap. You got a shot of me falling out the window? Oh, you were hoping, look at you. I like boobies. Come on, you big baby. See, even my eckup.